Shalom. Giving all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and others of great millstone. Shalom to you, hopefully elect. I'm your fellow doomsday prophet, servant, Yahweh call from the great millstone Orlando camp. Just had to throw that in there. And getting right into it. There's a certain statement which pretty much inspired the topic or the title for this topic. You know, I'm gonna play this video through. Lord willing. And of course, as always, a disclaimer. All right, copyright disclaimer. All right, not making any type of monetary gain. This is just strictly for informational purposes. All right, Lord willing, they don't take this video down. But like I said, there's a certain statement that DJ Trump, the beloved savior that is being propped up as, Babylon's savior, America's savior. All right. And there's also another point that has been made from Zelensky. I believe that this man was prophesying in the spirit without even knowing it. So 2 points rather. So with that being said, I'm gonna try to, more than likely play as much of this, or play all of this video for the most part, or at least try to get through as much of it as possible. I have the guy that sped up, so without further ado, I'm gonna get right into it.
With both of them, you'd never have a deal. You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, "Hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal?" It doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America and for the good of the world. I'm aligned with the world, and I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred, and I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I can be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough.
You mentioned being aligned with Europe, but here it is. Basically, Trump, I think this guy, what's his name? JD Vance, whatever, the vice president, whatever. Basically, and we seen this back in Trump's first term. Basically talking shit against NATO and the EU. All right, on how they basically need to do more. Basically just talking shit. Being stout. Which I'll probably get that later on. But nevertheless, playing on.
But you're never going to get a deal that way, so that's the way it goes. One more question.
I would respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is made in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the president of the United States' words mattered more than the president of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So he occupied our big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact?
2015.
2014 and 2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but yes, but during 2014 till 2022, the situation the same. That people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. That we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him. Me, like a new president in 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel. We signed ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed with him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken the ceasefire. He killed our people, and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come on.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into the military? And do you think that to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning. First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You're not.
So that's one point. Like I mentioned, 2 points. That's one point right there. Like I said, just speaking through the Spirit as a man. The Lord had it to where this dude, this puppet, he was prophesying in the Spirit. Because let's get into a few quick precepts, man, before I ramble. And as I'm going to play on, because as much as pretty much all these so-called world leaders, as much as they don't want war, as much as they don't want World War III, nevertheless, it's coming. All right, it's going to happen because this is the will of Yahweh Bashem El Shai. Let me grab this first. I'm just going through the Spirit. Jeremiah. On what's that? 50. Jeremiah 50. Jeremiah 50 and 45. Therefore hear ye the counsel of Yahweh that he have taken against Babylon. So again, this is the will of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Yahweh is who the world ignorantly calls God. All things are done in the name of his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly and foolishly they call Jesus. Contrary to popular belief, we're not in the time of peace. Yahweh is not coming to send Yahweh Shai for peace, all right? Because that's what everyone is crying out for. All right, peace. The thought of World War III, everyone cringes at the thought of World War III. Everyone's afraid and terrified at the thought of World War III. But I don't want to jump the gun because this is good news for us. And why is that? Because we know we know what is going to usher in. All right, World War III, all hell breaking loose. Again, this is why when the whole thing of being prophets of doom is looked down upon. It's a so-called bad thing, but no, we look forward to these things. These things are exciting to us. All right, it's actually good news for us, but bad news for the world. It says again, Jeremiah 50 and 45. Therefore hear ye the counsel of Yahweh that he have taken against Babylon and his purposes. So again, as there's no amounting of peace deals, peace negotiations, peace talk. No peace is coming to the world, to the wicked, like the scriptures say. All right, this is the word of the Lord. It says, and his purposes. So this is what the will of Yahweh by Shemel Shah has for Babylon, Esau, the nations 2/3. Right, it says that he had proposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. Going into something else, but just wanted to make the point about the purposes, the will of Yahweh Shemel Shai. All right, like I said, the will of Yahweh Shemel Shai, what it is for the purposes that Yahweh Shemel Shai has for America. All right, like I said, Esau, the elites, from the top wicked elite down to the average Joe Schmo. All right, the nations 2/3. What the will of the Lord is overall. All right, and like I said, ultimately, for America to be destroyed. All right. What else was I going to get? Because like I said, Zelensky speaking, or basically he's prophesying in the Spirit without even knowing it. Because what we see going on in these other nations is coming to America. All right. Where's it at? Isaiah. Bear with me. And I'm trying to make this quick because, I'm trying to breeze through this because we got a Sunday fellowship in a bit. So I'm trying to go through this as quick as possible. Isaiah 47:1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin, daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. Because America has been propped up as the golden cup, like the scriptures talk about. All right, this place has been basically the main tool in promoting wickedness throughout the four corners of the world. All right, but now America's time is up, and the judgment for America is come. Is very nigh, is very close. All right. It says, "For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate." Why is that? Because, like I just mentioned, the virgin daughter of Babylon. All right. So with that being said, when it comes to things such as warfare, being invaded, missiles dropping, which a lot of these other countries, they're used to that. It's a Tuesday for them. It's basically a Thursday for them. So basically, what Zelensky is saying, what's going on over there in Ukraine, as well as many other places, but specifically speaking about Ukraine. Like I said, he was prophesying in the spirit that, hey, what's going on with us, man? It's coming to America. You see that? That's the point. All right, these Americans, they're sitting, lavishly. They're eating deliciously. They're fat. They're good. They're comfortable, complacent. Have the normalcy bias spirit. They have the attitude that this can never happen. This will never come to America. America's the greatest empire. All these, fables and, America's a shit. This can never happen here. This is the attitude and mindset of these people. All right. But little do these people know, war is coming to America. All right. Real soon, America is going to get her virginity popped. That's the point that I want to make. All right. Because like I mentioned here, the virgin daughter of Babylon. All right. And again, America has never seen war front. It's never been invaded. I can't say America's never lost a war because, America's lost plenty of wars. But overall, I'll say America's lost plenty of battles. Overall, America's never really lost a war for the most part. America's taken many L's, but for the most part, they never really lost a war. But they're going to lose this war, all right? And that's why the Spirit had me read that in Jeremiah 50, because once America is dragged into this World War III, it's going to lose this war, America's going to get dragged into this war just to get their ass beat, all right? So prepare. That's what basically, again, this dude is prophesying in the Spirit. The Lord has it to where the Spirit is on this Lord, Slakia, the Spirit is on this man to prophesy, hey, what we're going through is coming to America, but playing on.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that. Exactly what you're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good. We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and it happens to be right about
from the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now, you're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once? This entire meeting? No, in this entire meeting, you said thank you. You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country. Please.
Are you looking for more in this world? Are you ready to be part of something bigger?
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No, you've done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning.
I know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet.
You haven't been alone.
In this
We
cabinet.
gave you,
I
through this
said
stupid
thanks.
president, $350 billion.
You
We
voted
gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave, but they had to use our military
Well,
equipment. If you didn't have our military equipment, this war would have been over war in 2 weeks.
In 3 days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days. This is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this.
Okay,
I tell you.
just say thank you.
I said a lot of
Accept
times
that there, accept
to American people.
accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on. I think it's very important. That's why I kept this going so long.
So that was the point right there. That was the second point. All right, Trump mentioned that this was all this arguing, bickering back and forth. Trump made that point. This was good for the American people to see. All right, and the point that I want to make through the spirit is, hey, this is good for the prophets, because I say all the time, bad news for the world is usually our good news. Our good news is usually bad news for the world. So that was the second point. All right, this is good for the world to see, or well, it's good for the prophets, because again, only the prophets are able to connect the dots. Only the prophets are able to, hey, I know brothers are catching hell. You hopefully elect members, catching hell. And I pray all the time, not just for myself, but for the hopefully elect, that, hey, the Lord continues to revive our hope. Those tokens, man, the scriptures talk about those tokens, the signs. And this is one of those tokens, one of many. All right. You see, because, hey, plenty of scriptures that we can go through. Let's get a few, man. Because I know, brothers, I've already touched on certain points dealing with, I know brothers touched on points. Matter of fact, before I go to there, let me go to this on Obadiah. Like I said, a lot of precepts come to mind. I'm just trying to filter this because I don't have much time. Obadiah 1, which this, if I'm not mistaken, this is one of the shortest, one of the shortest, for sure. It's one of the shortest chapters. One of the shortest books. There's only one chapter. Which these fake and phony Christians, they don't deal with this book because it details a lot. Goes into the complete annihilation of a whole so-called race of people. All right. So, a very significant book, Obadiah 1 and 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. So basically, America's allies are going to get to a point where they're going to say, fuck America. All right, fuck this place. Which leads me to Revelation 17. Because as we know, or as we should know, not only are these other nations are going to shoot their missiles on Babylon, all right, the nations that are enemies to America, but America's allies as well. All right, if you're paying attention to the news, like I mentioned in the beginning, Trump has been talking all type of shit against NATO, the EU. All right, basically America's allies, Taiwan, which is an ally to America. Over the past few years, man, they just been basically talking about how, hey, basically they've been giving off that attitude, that spirit that America's basically untrustworthy. All right, especially what America did on the Biden's administration when they pulled out of Afghanistan, because the whole world is watching this, as dumbed down, as these people are, really Jake really doesn't have any idea what's going on, but everyone's watching, and when Afghanistan pulled out of Slovakia, when America pulled out of Afghanistan, everyone's seen that, and Taiwan, they're kind of, they're kind of iffy, they're it's almost like Turkey, which is if I'm not mistaken, that's a NATO NATO member, which all goes back to the beast. All right, you know, which consists of EU, NATO. You know, Turkey, they've been on the fence. You know, they've been playing both sides, but we know, according to prophecy, eventually Turkey is going to side with the so-called Russian Edomites. All right, you know, but Taiwan, you know, they're kind of on edge, they're kind of on edge. They're kind of, you know, after that whole situation with like I said, America pulling out of Afghanistan, right? You know, Taiwan, they're kind of, we don't know, you know. What else, man? Like I mentioned, Trump has been talking all kind of shit against EU, NATO, you know, doing backdoor deals, right? You know, here it is. Trump is basically, you know, in talking with Russia, you know, the so-called Edomites, the so-called Russian, which they're none but Edomites, Russian Edomites. There's just a lot going on, a lot of division. All right. But nevertheless, overall, it's going to get to the point where even America's allies, you know, and this Lord willing, this is just a stepping stone. This is just more fuel to the fire. All right. You know, because again, America backs, or supposedly is backing Ukraine. All right, but here it is. You know, you got the so-called leaders, these so-called leaders of these two countries. Well, basically, Trump, for the most part, he's the one that's really, you know, talking shit. You know, like basically, hey, y'all can't do anything without us. So it's almost like Trump is trying to, you know, keep this, you know, keep almost like he's trying to check him. Like, hey, stay in your place. Y'all ain't nothing without us. Y'all can't do anything without us. Stay in your lane. All right, basically trying to sun him. You know, if you know the term, you know, you try to sun somebody, right? You know, and that's why, like I said, wanted to bring out those 2 points. All right, but the main point, hey, like Trump said, hey, this is good for the world to see. No, this is good for the prophets. All right, because again, according to prophecy, we know something's going to happen. Things are going to happen. One thing is going to lead to another, to where America's allies are going to turn on America. Not just America's enemies, but America's allies. You know. So going to it, matter of fact, let's start at verse in Revelation 17. And also talks about this in Jeremiah as well, but again, just for the sake of time. Revelation 17, I'm starting at 1. And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, which is, of course, is going into America. All right. You know, this great whore, all right, you know, sitting upon many waters, going into these other nations. All right. It says, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the whole earth, and the inhabitants of the earth have made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So now that's what these nations, such as Ukraine, Zelensky, they're coming to see that, hey, you basically, you slept with the whore, and now you've contracted some type of a STD. Now you're mad. You know, now you feel some type of way. But it's like, what did you expect? You know, you sleep with a whore, all right, and now you got some STD. Now you're burning in the pipes. Now, you know, if you know what I mean. You know, it's like, what did you expect? All these nations are starting to find out. All right. Now I'm gonna jump down to get that point that all these nations have drunk the wine of Babylon. You know, they slept with this whore, and now they're starting to feel the effects. All right, but it's like, what did you expect? right? That almost rhymed. I'm gonna jump down just to get to the points. Revelation 17. I'm gonna jump down to verse 14. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. For he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. So like I mentioned, like I brought out in Jeremiah, about the purposes that Yahweh Shai has for America. As much as all these nations, these, you know, so-called leaders, as much as they don't want to, what you looking at? As much as they don't want to go to war, but like when you read Ezekiel, what is that, 38? It talks about how the Lord's going to put an evil thought into those so-called Russians, all right, those Edomite Russian Edomites. Because something's going to happen to where, hey, the Russians, all right, as well as the other nations, they're going to say, fuck it. All right, something's going to happen to where, hey, and America's been crossing lines. All right, they've been crossing those red lines. They've been crossing boundaries. But it's going to get to the point, it's going to get past the point of no return. All right. And, you know, hey, all these nations, man, at some point, Lord willing, in the near future, man, they're going to shoot those missiles. All right, this is what we're leading to. So that's why, again, you know, like Trump made the statement, it's good for the world to see this, you know. And it's not good for the world to see this because it's lucky, man, you know, dying over here, man. And, you know, we're all dying slowly. Some dying quicker than others. It's like no matter what you do to try to keep up with your health, man, it's just always something. So please forgive me. You know, I'm dealing with all type of mucus, demons. So bear with me, man. But something's going to happen to where even America's allies are going to say, hey, fuck this bitch, all right? Fuck this whore, you know? And, hey, going back to the law, they're going to stone this bitch, all right? You know? And in this case, hey, those stones are going to come in the form of nuclear missiles, all right? You know, that nuclear fire, which are, you know, stones, man. You know, you're supposed to burn a whore. You know, that's the law, all right? So what's the judgment for America? What's the judgment for this great whore? She's going to be stoned with fire, man. That's what all this is going to lead to. That's why this is good news for us, and bad news for the world. It's good. This is good for the prophets. All right. This is just steps leading up to what I'm reading here. Reading on to verse 15. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes of nations and tongues. Like I mentioned, verse 1, going into the you know, the whore, the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Right. All these nations partook in Babylon's juice, you know, Babylon's wine, and, you know, they slept with this whore, and now you're feeling something. You know, now you got an STD. And it's like, why are you mad now? You know, what did you expect? Right? The scriptures say that. Well, you know, these nations, they're mad. It's like, what you got to be mad for? What did you expect? You know, just raw dog this bitch. You know, no condom. You just, you know. Reading on, it says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So, again, going into NATO and EU, all right, which are, again, America's a part of that alliance of America. All right, they're gonna burn this bitch. All right, they're gonna shoot those missiles over this bitch. This ain't nothing. Now, Ukraine's not a part of NATO or the EU, but nevertheless, NATO is a ally to America. So that's the point that I'm making. All of, you know, at some point, all of America's allies are gonna say, fuck this bitch, all right? And they're going to stone her with stones, according to the law, all right? Now, I'll read verse 17. It says, for the Most High hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will. So like I mentioned in Jeremiah, all right? This is the Lord's purposes. As much as these nations don't want to go to war, all right? Nevertheless, hey, they're going to war, all right? You're going to war, all right? It's coming to America. You know, like I mentioned with the first, you know, point was Zelensky prophesying in the spirit. All right, You know, hey, it's coming to America. War is coming to America. This bitch is her virginity is about to get popped. It says, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. So this is the will of Yahweh Most High. All right. You know, get ready for World War III. And from there, hey, it's going to usher in, Lord willing, our deliverance and the destruction of Esau, all right, the nations, 2/3, all right, and so on and so forth. And that's going to be all she wrote. So, Lord, one of this was edifying, giving all praises to Yahweh Shemel Shai. Shalom to you, hopefully elect.